Hello and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 11th of October. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now I'm going to give you the major strands of this week as an overview and then dive deep for each individual zodiac sign. So please stay with me. Now the major news story this week is that Saturn, the ruler of time, Saturn is the Latin version of Kronos, the Greek god. Kronos, old, father, time. So Saturn governs the mechanics of things. It's very much to do with where we're applied, where we're disciplined, but it can also be about limitation and obstacles and contraction. And since the 23rd of May, Saturn has been retracing its steps in the sign of Aquarius, which of course it co-rules. But for vast amounts of that time, it has been pretty much in a square with Uranus, the other ruler of Aquarius, which is very progressive and freedom-loving, very much about trying new things, where Saturn's very much about traditionality. So if you have experienced a period of great frustration in your situation and it feels that things just haven't been moving forwards, it's really positive that Saturn starts to station direct. But this week also sees the Sun and Mars in the sign of Libra in a combination which is pushing us to assert our rights around relationships in a tense right angle with Pluto, the planet of transformation. And this can lead to some quite forceful or heated standoffs. But those relationships that are much more constructive are given an opportunity to become even more stable and progressive, because Venus, the planet of relating in the sign of philosophy, Sagittarius, is linking brilliantly to Saturn. So that's a real upside to this week. But there is a quarter moon which occurs on Wednesday, and this one is pretty close to Pluto, and it's the moon in Capricorn, and that's squaring to the Sun in the 7th house. Do you know, there may be a situation where we do actually try very much to fit in with what's expected of us, but somehow or another, whoever we're trying to relate to will still find that our efforts just are not good enough. So expect to encounter someone who really is quite hard to please, and that could in itself be quite frustrating if we're really trying our best to be quite constructive. Now the other thing to tell you is that by the end of this week, both Mercury and Jupiter on Sunday are ending their retrogrades, both in air signs, the Mercury retrograde in Libra and Jupiter in Aquarius. But I will tell you more about that next time. But the big news story this week is definitely that Sun-Mars square with Pluto and Saturn going forwards. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And if you want your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please click on the subscription link beneath this video. I write for some of the world's bigger platforms, and also for the British Press Association. I've been their lead astrologer for many years, and also Britain's most read daily newspaper, the Metro, so why not grab yours too? And with year 2022 fast racing up, if you want to understand what the year holds for you personally, based on your time, date and place of birth, you can order your forecast now and get the rest of this year free, plus a character analysis, plus 30% off. So gain searing insights for what lies ahead for you. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 11th of October. Well, as this week begins, Saturn, your co-ruler, your traditional ruler, which gives you that real sort of persistence and patience and ability to embrace old world values, you know, of good manners and punctuality, and really staying in touch with people who've ever done you a good deed. That's a very Aquarius trait, loyalty to friends. And of course your new world planet, if you like, is Uranus, very much to do with that desire to speed things up, be a bit innovative, sometimes unpredictable, need space. Sometimes Saturn sees you needing a little bit of solitude. So Saturn starts to go forwards this week. And if you think back through to the 23rd of May, has it been quite hard going at times, when it comes to your individual hopes? It wouldn't be a surprise if it has. It just depends if Saturn has been right on top of your sun, or if you've got other personal planets around the sun, which often can be the case, Venus and Mercury particularly. I've also got, along with Venus, I've got the moon, and Saturn's been perched right on top of that moon for much of this year, and then as it's reversed, it's been sat on my midpoint, so the midpoint between the sun in Aquarius and the moon, so about 6 degrees Aquarius, so Saturn's been sat there. Oh, well, yes, you can imagine what that's been like. So Saturn going forwards is something that I think all us water bearers will be raising either a glass of lovely crystal clear water to, or if you like something a little bit different, something else that might hit the sweet spot. But also this week, Venus in the sector of friendship and collaboration and in truth in some ways, that forges a lovely angle to Saturn. So the people that really get you and are part of your future destiny, they can really be very reassuring this week. But it is true that the Sun and Mars are in the very dynamic 9th house. That's quite a different energy from the more restrictive, limiting energies of Saturn. The 9th house is where we want to be more experimental. It's very Sagittarian. It's about travel, adventurism, independence, which of course we can relate to. So if you are fortunate enough to be able to get away from your usual haunts, this is a fine time to do so, to be perfectly honest. But also, this could be a week because of the quarter moon in the sign of Capricorn, which is very close to Pluto, and Pluto squaring up to the Sun and also Mars. Something may come to the surface that's a little bit awkward, and it may be something that seems to almost take on a life force of its own. But maybe you're protecting your position because you feel that you're reflecting your values, because the sign of Sagittarius, which is kind of 9th house energy, and of course Libra is about balance, means that if you feel someone's been unfair, you may have been pushing back quite strongly against them. The problem is that Pluto and the quarter moon are in your sector of hidden enemies, and if there are people that don't have your best interest at heart, you may feel that they come into focus this week and stage some kind of advance towards you. Just keep your guard up a little bit. However, with Mercury ending its retrograde as this week draws to a close, and Jupiter in your sign likewise, from the start of next week, I feel that it's going to be like emerging into the sunlight after what has been quite a challenging time. Now, of course, your two rulers of Saturn and Uranus are going back into a square from the last week of November through to around about the end of January. So the square which has dominated this year is not quite at an end, but I certainly feel that things can lighten up as we finally have Jupiter and Mercury joining with Saturn this week and Pluto last week coming out of retrograde. And I think as long as you can just stand your ground in the right kind of way, but just be aware that some people could use some dark energies to try to undermine you, which could be quite wounding for someone like you who does like to be generally quite a straight dealer.